Now I'm going to see if this thing works. I'm going to see if it works. Seems to be working.
You got some haikus today?
I did actually.
I love your haikus.
You've done it. That'll be fun. You're going to change your novel.
Still writing your novel?
Still, I haven't written for 20 years. I finally made a breakthrough, which is what, finally,
You're gonna
after
read
20
more?
years, my God.
Well, you were reading a chapter.
Yeah, it was all the old stuff, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I am so glad. If only I could just keep going.
Yeah.
First time, 20 years.
We are finally here.
You hadn't written in 20 years.
Does this sound? Is this carrying?
2 pages, it's not quite done, but.
All right. Well, when you get up on the mic, you should get pretty close to it, or else it won't carry you. It carries me, but then I'm loud and I don't know how to shut up sometimes. Anyway, welcome to Sacred Grounds, the longest-running open poetry mic that we know of in the known and unknown universe, serving up good food and fine poetry since 1972. Give yourselves a welcome here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Also, give a little round of applause to Teddy back there. He is our host. He, along with Fiona, are responsible for us being here. Without him, we wouldn't be where we are right now. You wouldn't be listening to this, and you wouldn't be saying, when is he going to just shut up? The feature. Indigo Hotchkiss is right here, a living legend. So she's going to get up and speak. That's our feature. It's going to be beautiful.
She didn't know she was the feature.
Well, congratulations, mate.
We've been talking, but our keynote is Nancy Wakeman. Is she around here? She's here. Oh, Nancy, thank you so much. Indigo is over there. David, you are a mini feature. The Queen's Wave. And we have Lulu, who may not be here, and she is the venture closer, super duper bulldozer, as you like to say. This link on the wall doesn't always work, but if you get the email or you see the Facebook postings, there's another link which serves very, very well, and you can get that from me through those means or others. Please respect the mic. That means when someone's up here, you listen kindly. If you have a cell phone or any other kind of device, now's the time to put it on buzz, vibrate, or whatever the heck it is, so that it doesn't disturb the general peace commodiously or incommodiously. Mine's already off. If you wish to take pictures or record somebody, ask them. Don't ask me, ask for them. Because if I see you doing that, I will assume that you have asked permission and everything is fine. So please do that. Tonight's theme is participation, which we'll have plenty of, I'm sure. And the never-ending theme is the following quote by Margaret Mead, which goes back to this link and the other links too. We never doubt that a small group of committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. And that's so true that many people go, you know, that's true. If you read a poem by someone else, I will hand you this. This is the attributions page. You put your name, the name of the poet, and the poem, or whatever it is, so that I won't always quote Charge of the Light Brigade by William Carlos Williams, who didn't write that, but nonetheless. The prizes, door prizes, fabulously donated by fabulous people in a fabulous way. We have news from Native California, a very good publication and magazine. Words, pictures, poems by Sally Love Saunders, a very nice collection. Garrett Murphy's The Ugly Salon and Other Stories. Now, this is a great book. This is very good. If you have a chance to get this, you should get this. Not that Sally's is it. That's another good one. We have good choices. And this, The Ability to Love by Alan Frome, Ph.D., forwarded by Melvin Powers, 1974 edition. And if you look at this picture closely, you'll see the style is appropriate to that long ago distant time. So, now if those don't ring your bell, and you're going to be back here next week, and you say you can take the last word, which is the last person to speak. Nobody gainsays you. Mini feature, 8 minutes after the break. The keynote means you come up here first and you speak, read a poem, or recite a poem by someone other than yourself. And if those don't do it, and you can't come back next week, you can choose a theme for next week. Someone chose participation, but there's a list of them in case you can think of anything you want. You can use one of these if you can't think of anything you want. You can get anything you want at that restaurant. So, is there anything else? Oh yes, say what you need to say. If you can't say it here, why are you here? So say what you want to say, be honest, be careful, be truthful. If you don't like what someone says, when it's your turn to get up, you get to say what you want to say. All right, so that takes care of them apples, as my mom used to say. I'm going to cautiously go over here, and we will have a round of applause for Nancy Wakeman, who's coming up here to give us the keynote address of the evening. It's Nancy Wakeman. Thank you so much. And I will adjust the video to accommodate the special needs of anybody who has special needs, especially me. Oh, you just, you gotta look right down. Oh, grab the mic here. This is not.
Could you tell the mic?
Well, you could, but somehow it's locked there for some reason. Sorry about this, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties up. Now we're cooking with gas, as my mom used to say. She used to say other things, but we won't go there. I mean, really. Thank you, David.
This is a poem by a poet called Bryn Saito.
But you can't tell.
And the title is Stone Watch. No, I'm sorry. The title is Stone on Watch at Dawn.
Oh, hold on. The plug came in. That's what we couldn't. I was wondering why the mic wasn't carrying. It wasn't carrying, but yeah, just in the one that's most complete. There you go. That should do it. Now we're truly ready to go. I'm sorry for the delays.
Okay. So the name of the poem again is Stone on the Watch at Dawn by Bryn Saito. See the writer again at the gate of memory? The land cracks open with the wind and shots of rain. She should drown her pages in the sky, take to the ground like a dogged gardener, turn the soil into something new, survive the past. Whispers at the barbed wire no longer suffice. What works is singing from the cave of the self, where memories of knives and clouds shaped like tiger faces live together like children, unaware of their potential. Thank you.
Ma'am. Thank you. Ma'am.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. And you're coming back for the open, right? Oh yeah. Here's the thing. You were faster than I was. Thank you so much. Give her a round, please. That was very nice. Sorry again. All right. And now, since no one has taken position number one, I will do a few baritone solos in the cafe. But before I do that, we have Mr. Bunton coming up here. Give him a nice round of applause, please. Buford is always here and giving us the best of everything.
I'm a teacher's aide in a San Francisco school, so this is one of my opinion poems. The state of education. The state of education is sometimes a positive state, sometimes not. My students, especially those last year, have been pretty good about trying to improve their own lives, at least those who can do that. No matter what, I try to help them. It's great when they help back.
Nicely done.
This is my other favorite topic, love. I have a quote from the great Pat Benatar: "Love is a battlefield."
My poem is Love is Hard. Finding it, even for almost 20 years, was excruciatingly difficult, heartbreaking when it walked out. Some of my friends have never been married and never will be, one guy claims. Women are hard to find and easy to lose. I continue the sometimes virtually impossible journey.
Houston, thank you so much. Well done. It is an impossible journey sometimes. Okay, let me just read the next few people who are coming up so that people know who and when they are. Thank you so much. We have David Z, then Ed, then Yasmin, then Lotus, then Stephanie, then Steve, Carolyn. Those are the next few readers, and after that, I think that's where we'll put the feature in. So I'm not sure about that, but we'll work that out for special needs and considerations. David, where are you? Oh, there he is. Come on up, my dear, and wow us like you always do. Leave no stone unturned.
And he had a wonderful time down at Cafe International last Friday. Yeah, absolutely did.
Yeah, we saw Clyde and a bunch of good stuff. Really good blues playing.
So I'm encouraging everybody else to come.
So I'm going to read one long poem. And this is one I wrote 50 years ago, if you count it. I said 55. The Bombing of Britain. It's in 5 parts. The Bombing of Britain. 1. Trajectory closing. The pinpoint is a core of white heat, shrunken in the dry silence and suspended high over the valley's deep carpet of cities. The point becomes a cylinder and rotates, throwing off sheets of glare that rake the bridges, thrusting roadways in long, indulgent humps. The cylinder telescopes to a golden needle and begins to tumble and break into sections. Fitted hatch covers burst outward, shatter, and air crews spill earthward. The bodies are black points. This little girl wants to kill her cat because it will not speak. But the points are men, and they will not speak. So with 2 fingers, she traces the cat's spine and tail and makes long, thin spaces in the dust on the wooden floor. 2. Power dive. A piston engine rages in the sunlight, throwing its steel and leather breast at the earth, longing for contact and the stunning climb that binds the eager flight suit to the airframe. A worn leather glove lies on the empty co-pilot seat. Sunlight washes out instrument faces. The pilot, transfixed, stares at the crystal city in his hand. A fractured music seeps into the headset. A gloved hand tightens on a bomb release. The tumbling lumps of explosive drop through spaces filled with children, and faces spinning in numbered passageways, and lists of animals yet to be destroyed. A rail yard twitches in multicolored eruptions of crates, cardboard, and snapping steel wires. Particles of rust cling to particles of boot and foot, and the bombs rise up through the columns of children, the repeating faces, like teeth returning to their sockets of decayed bone. The bombs return to the craft and nestle in their shackles. 3. The eye's receptacle. My speech outlines and precedes my acts, which condense into points of white heat. Our eyes meet, and for a moment we pause, and then the air around is filled with bodies. Once I touched your hair, and tiny spheres of no time clung to my fingers and vanished when I broke contact. 4. Memory fails. This little girl is told to bring her brother a pack of cigarettes. He urinates on the front stoop. Mrs. Jensen prevents 3 nurses from restraining her, threatening to beat them over the goddamn head with her own goddamn hands. Me, I couldn't read thermometers that day. Mrs. Jensen, in her anger, had been inhaling large quantities of air. The urine left a print on the concrete that dried invisible. I'd be obliged to you if you could just hand me that knife lying on the table over there so I could cut these straps and go on home. There's no knife there, Mr. Burkhart. Mr. Burkhart didn't complain so much about the leathers they put on him and couldn't force Mrs. Jensen to submit to. And I've seen people piss off of and onto porches before, and I've seen people beat to shit inside steel boxes. And I know succinylcholine is customarily given to mental hospital patients to prevent convulsions during electric shock treatments. And that we marched forward to take over the plane, and 3 to 6 men jumped from their seats and began firing at us. And they didn't kill him until we had both been knocked to our feet and tied. Why do I know these things and dream about them? What right do I have to touch you? 5, North Cluster. Moonlight. I can't find the door. I can't find the next step. I can't read the words in my eyes. The missionary drops the hypodermic. There's not enough flesh between skin and bone on the black child's body for the needle. The pilot shakes his head. The gauges register guilt and fear in thousands of meters. Voices pour like smoke from the vibrating console. The weight of the sun is unbearable as my gloved hands, my weapons. Thank you.
Wow. David Zeltzer, kicking it. And now, let me just, we have Ed Melendez. Oh, are you new here?
Yep.
Okay, this is the first time he's here, so we know what we do. Let's hear it, let's hear it, let's hear it. Come on. Usually they're louder than this. They're not rowdy yet.
That's right. I've been hearing about it for a while from
We're not
Buford
drunk.
and Owen and Steve, who I meet up with almost every day.
All right.
I have 2, so thank you for. I'm glad to be here. The first one. Oh, poet, be something. Jack Spicer drank and died in North Beach, never outliving the 1960s of San Francisco. San Francisco Renaissance poet, not Beat, not Black Mountain, not New York School. Disheveled, eccentric, drunken messenger, channeling Martian couplets by aquatic park afternoons. Where's your paper now? That lonely broken typewriter, forcing key visions into 8.5 by 11 words. Bound to follow left to right, up and down, displacing whatever loose beauty lived inside your pockets. Poet, be something, say something, share something godlike, or monster-like, whatever you desire, but write, before cement covers your works and we forget.
Yeah. I like that before cement covers your work. Thank you.
All right, this one's called Laundry Day. Watch my clothes dry, corner laundrette, quite lonely, tumbling, spinning down, around, then up, fumbling, swirling troops of cotton. 1 hour of life spent on the San Francisco corner between Bush and Stockton streets. Stare at my dancing socks, silly blue argyles, brown, red, but notice those red and gray ones, worn when my heart was broken. Plaid shirt pirouettes in 14-minute heat. She saw Berlin under dark mists, brushing softly against remnants of the wall, that network of terror. Black pants seemed to blend into the circular pattern. Quiet, reflective old trousers, they remember everything. Walks in Paris, Vienna, London, conversations with sorrow, fights with forgetting, shattered intellect in tutorials. They are patient, they are old. Red t-shirt, light and fluffy, smiles and sings, remembering running up hills in England, splashing water in the warm Pacific, always young, always oblivious to weather, to tears. Laundry day is memory day, conversations to the hum of dryers, washers, folding up smiles, blacks, sorrow, and other clean things in hampers made of yesterday.
Good. Thank you. Nice. Thank you. Come back. You can come back, right? Okay. Because otherwise, we'll miss you.
Oh, got it.
Okay. Oh, good. All right. And now there's a number of special things happening this evening. which I will allude to in weird and mysterious ways. One of them is the person who's going to be going up next. This is a wonderful writer. You're going to read some from the manuscript.
From novel.
Okay. So is that? I just want to make sure I'm saying this right. Okay. It's great. I'm waiting for this thing to come out. So.
Get you on the air.
No. That confuses me. So, Yasmin, give her a nice round of applause as she comes up here. And we'll adjust this. I think, is that right? Is that good?
Thank you, Dan.
All
That's
right.
wonderful. Okay, yeah. I just want to tell you something. I've been coming here for at least since 2003. Carl Wiener introduced me to this place, and I've been coming here religiously except for about a year or so. And this place is very special to me, which is why I want to share this with you. I went to the Iowa Writers Workshop, which is supposed to be the Ivy League, but I stopped writing. I was writing like crazy. It was just spilling out of me. And I completely stopped because I married my professor. And it caused such a stir. But anyway, after 20 years, I'm writing now. For the first time, I've broken through. And it's only 2 pages, but with an autistic son cleaning his butt and, making sure right in the middle of my sentence or whatever it is, it's really hard. But I am totally, totally determined. So I hope this novel gets published at some point. And it will certainly include Sacred Grounds Cafe as a topic. The novel has two protagonists, Omri, who's the female, and Merrick, who's the male. And it's taking place in the 60s. This is the first draft. A lot of us has to change because it sounds a little cliche, but it will change. It's a breakthrough. And Omri has followed Merrick into the ghetto where she's smitten by him, obviously, and she's followed him into the ghetto, and she insists on getting to know him. He's in class with her at the Master's in Economics. Bless you. Thank you. The mongoose comes after us. We ain't got no defense. Just snakes without the venom, Merrick said. Ain't no use striking. Don't you see, Omri? We ain't got nothing left. You don't understand what I'm saying. Now you go on home. You don't belong here. But I do, said Omri defiantly. I know exactly what you mean. Been seeing the cobra and the mongoose fight since I was a child. Tell me what I don't understand. He cut her short. They drafted me. Who? What? Vietnam, that's where. Ain't going. He moved his arms as if in boxing. No, sir, ain't got no quarrels with the Chinkais. Again the arms like a left hook. You is right, Ollie. I am with you. He squinted at Omri. Come on, I'll take you home. Not till you feed me. She sat herself at the kitchen table. He kept talking as he stirred the molasses into the beans. A shaft of light hit the tin cover of the open can. One beam of hope. She thought as she listened to his outbursts of words. Damn, ain't fighting no white man's war. Gonna fight the board with all I got. Ali used spoken words. I'm gonna use written words. That is why I sat with the dictionary all these years, in fading light and bars, taught myself fancy words, so I can use them, beat them at the game. No, sir, I ain't going nowhere. She was afraid to interrupt him. She did, as he dumped the mixture in a plate. Circles of roses along the rim, garlands announcing the irony of the situation. Where? What? Tell me. Don't you know nothing, Omri? There's a war going on, and now I'm in it. It's called Vietnam. You know nothing about this country. No, I know little about it, but you're in it, and I found you, defiant. And that is precisely what I aim to get you out of. Don't you see, Omri, you don't belong here. This is not your world. Your world is comfortable. Mine is hubris. Yours is peaceful. It allows you to pursue whatever. Mine is a fight every step of the way. I ain't got no fight. Nothing comes to me easy. You do not belong in this world. Let me take you home to your world. Omri took a long breath. So we learned this in Dr. Schatz's class, the first time I noticed you. Pareto's optimum theory, remember? Distribution of wealth, rich nations, poor nations, rich neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, the spreading of goods and services to benefit all. Yes, he smiled. Utopia. That's what you said even then on that first year of class. You argued so eloquently with Dr. Schatz. That's when I noticed you. Even then, even then. What did I say? Aha, she had won. She had distracted him from this Vietnam. That's all I've got.
Thank you. Yasmin. I like it. All right. So let me read the next set of people to the open mic here. We have Lotus, who's coming up now, who will be using her guitar with us. Then we have Stephanie, Steve, Richard, or Stephanie, Steve, the feature, then Richard, or something like that. We'll get it straight in just a moment. And give her a nice round of applause as she comes up here to get settled and started with wowing us as we like to be wowed in a way that we like to be weighed.
What did you say?
I'm just saying, I'm just blathering.
Okay.
Ignore me.
Okay. Let's see. Mic. I'm not a mic expert.
Oh, as long as you're,
Something like that.
yeah, just get,
La la la, like that. But
Yeah.
am I too close? Whatever. Okay. Well, I'm glad there's only time for one song because I've had a rough time. I'm tired. Okay. Okay, but I'm gonna do one song.
There we go.
Body tingles, my mingles with the stars on high. Could it be that dreams come true by and by? When you were little, you were raised on dreams of life and love. You
a wonderful singer-songwriter. We haven't seen you in a long time, so you'll have to make a point of coming back at some point so we can praise you further. Stephanie Manning is the next person up onto the open mic. The wonderful, the magical, the entertaining, the esoteric, the capable at the mic stand. Stephanie Manning, who knows whereof she speaks and whereof we speak.
All right. So on Saturday at La Promenade Cafe reading, we had this wonderful Sherry Rose Walker featured. And she gave me her chapbook, so I thought I'd read a few of her wonderful poems here. This one's called Stone Water. Now is the time of stones, dry coherence to the bones of things. Gaunt hag, bone woman now rules, turning the waters to stone with the touch of her flinty wand. Stripped naked, we dive deep, juiceless embryos curled around the warmth of our dreams. Like the bearing earth delivered of her fruits, we slow to the vigilant stillness of death, hard seed of being. Dreams and prayers rustle like dry leaves and are borne away on the wind. All dreaming things rest in the darkness of long night, in the silence of becoming.
Nice.
This one called The Chronology of Revelation. Perhaps it begins in a certain shade of light, enfolding each contemplative leaf, and trees turning to thoughts of fall. Something in the liquid language of birds, hushed and more reverent, suggests quiet water at twilight, and the hidden treasure of holiness, opening a long-neglected book, buried for months in familiarity, shading into the sin of contempt, enlivens the flame dwelling there, fans that alchemical fire until you too are a light, flaming toward the mystery beyond all language. There the flame stills, illumines the heart of the rose.
Nice.
Let's take that one. And go to this one she read on Saturday. It's a beautiful one, called Poetic Champions Compose. That's what we all are here, poetic champions.
We are the champions.
We are the
Never mind.
From time out of mind, poets, prophets, sibyls, seers, and oracles drank from the same cup, summoned ritual madness to speak only truth. Poetic champions courted death, drew up runic wisdom from the molten, mythic center of the world, to compose their grave, star-rich words. Sitting before my own word hoard, preparing to sift, sort, muse, meditate, measure, and meander, I string my loom with the tensile strength of the past, mythic underpinnings to ground and shelter my word weaving, all handmade, these mixed metaphors heaped in bowls and baskets at my feet, patiently await their fate. Will I know, as poetic champions once did, divine madness, ritual death, Odin's shrieking agony as he pulled runes from the abyss? What song will I drink in the dark? What invocation will I chant to summon the true poetic power? Will I find, as I untangle the dross and gold entwined here, the heart of the matter from which all else emerged? The teaching stars, the moon, the hidden suns now attend this work, this costly labor of love. The poetic champions appear, offering their harsh wisdom, murmuring their eternal incantation. Remember, remember, remember. I pick up a bowl, touch something shining there, my fingers burned in its flame. I cradle it, grow accustomed to the pain, begin to weave.
Nicely done. Oh, here. Thank you. Yeah, Sherry Rose Walker. Great. All right, so we are going... Oh, that's not me. Oh, Steve, Carolyn, thank you very much for being aware of your awarenesses. And then Alice, I think we're going to have you follow, and then Indigo, okay?
Something's going off there. The
That's-
screeching noise.
That's... Oh, hold on. Oh, there's some other noise happening somewhere.
somebody's got something on that's squeaky.
Maybe it's where is that?
It's coming from.
Oh, this is this.
Oh.
You know, this thing, one of these fine centuries, I'm just going to take it and put it where the moon don't shine. See, Carolyn, give him a round of applause. Pardon my technical errors.
Okay, I got three.
Three?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder about Dorothy's journey. She was the lonely girl entering puberty on a farm in Kansas. She's the sweet girl who loves Aunt Em and the hired hands and her dog Toto. She helps the men. They go with her. Of course, she attracts them. They need the heart, mind, and courage to become the men they want to be. So they go off to see the great wizard. He is just a well-meaning old fool, but even he knows how to climb the air and speak with the flames, the fire of the sun. He would help her, but she has an enemy, the malevolent evil witch who hates water, the liquid of basic life. Oh, how Dorothy can sing, with truth and emotion, to charm the hearts of almost all listeners. So Dorothy goes home now aware that there is a different reality underlying the dust and the pig pen. Is America still worthy of her, or have drugs and electronics ruined all?
I'll go with ruined all.
I thought of the movie title, I Never Sang for My Father, and I decided I would sing for my father. I wheel him up to the parlor of the old age home, from the clean angles of the dementia ward to the front parlor with its mahogany and oriental carpets and fantastic upholstered armchairs, a realm for the nearly dead to comfort them. My dad used to love take me out to the ball game, and in the Navy. So I sing them to him with all the strength I can muster. He no longer reacts even to 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out, but he does fall asleep when I sing, hush little baby, don't you cry, mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. I am the only living singing voice in the whole place. All the rest is electronic gadgetry, more sophisticated than the attempt of a mere human. I let my dad sleep for a while. Then he wakes up when I wheel him back to the Friendship Hall. If we are lucky, we meet Enid and Lucretia and Harold and Marion and Alma and Bob and Patty on the way back. And now I'll choose one at random. 50 years ago, in the backward and abysm of time, but not so long ago, as recent as the turning the crook of my elbow while pulling a fish out of the river of time I go a-fishing in, I would go down the long slant in the early peace of morning to Hale Junior High in Woodland Hills, often on a bike, often on foot. Then I would go to the gray cement handball courts. I would usually have some time to do some pull-ups on the sides of the courts. Now I cannot do one real pull-up. But then, as I tried every morning, morning after morning, I got to 25 pull-ups, real and difficult, with hard arm muscles and as thin as a codfish. Then I would put my books and folders down, and I would proceed to the horizontal bar on the forgiving, thick black rubber mats. At first I could not even do a full knee circle, but then one day I threw myself back with devil-may-care absent-mindedness like Owen Dunkel, and sure enough I did it and went on to homeroom.
Homeroom! All right. Thank you, Steve. Glad to hear you again. And now Alice is going to be coming up before our special event of the evening. Give Alice a nice recognition and a round of applause. Also one of the main people behind the Haight-Ashbury Literary Arts Journal as we know it.
This is called River
River Song. River Song. I ride rain rivers, pine rivers, dream rivers, the wild cloud rafts of yesterday's question, hastening like summer snow. I saddle slopes of slopes, old stories on my hand, the sun in my tongue. Breathe and listen, breathe and listen. The inside out speak are welcome. 2, one bird, a river bird, one tree, an island tree, each curved in shady chapel, their liquid angle, the night's last look. 3, deer tracks, morning gift. Oaxaca, Mexico. The roosters cry, the sun now a shadow, the smell of dinner as a cloud, a volcano, a black shadow on a green hill, notes of a flute like cat steps, circles appear, pottery broken through fire.
Nice.
Deborah, she is living in a house too small for her, tall, angular. She breaks the walls with her elbows. The walls are what irritate her. She is a dancer who breathes softly. She is sugar, molasses, pine sap. She is never at rest, always moving. She is a healer. She puts her hands on me. Her hands are swans. She sews herself into a bundle to swing over her shoulder. She is a dance that sits with her back to the room. The room is too small for her. She dances with her eyes.
Alice Rogoff.
Did you say something about indigo, or?
I'd like you to do something like that because you know more. I might say something, but I also thought that you might be more appropriate for you. They just.
Well, I first met Indigo and Cliff McIntyre through Noe Valley Poets, and Noe Valley was a very different kind of a neighborhood then, though they didn't live in Noe Valley. And eventually, they started a group that came to meet on Oak Street, and there was great readings that happened, and they also made wonderful food, and eventually also started the Haight-Ashbury Literary Journal, which has now been going on for many years. But Indigo has been published in magazines herself and in anthologies, and here she is.
Wonderful. A mover and shaker.
Might I add,
Oh yeah, we can do that as well.
might I add, she also started Cafe International with Benny Lewis. The read that is currently going on there, where Clyde always happens. Her and Benny Lewis started that back in the 90s.
Benny Lewis.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You want it in front of you?
I think it should be in front. We want it.
Well,
Could you move the mic closer to the thing? It's going to be. I'll be able to hear. Get it right in there. There it is.
Yeah, let's move. That's it.
it's just a fantasy to them.
No. We need to move the table out so she can. Yeah, let's move it out.
Yeah. I cranked it up here.
Yeah, right. Oh.
There we go.
Much better. Much better.
It's just a fantasy to them for Cliff, who died. Your body held so much spilled freight, moving in over the horizon all summer. Every morning I tried to lift it, but it lost me, as I lost myself in its brush. Like a general, you stood watching the storm approached, the cocktail party safely indoors, everyone holding their glasses and bits of conversation as the storm shred its tangled bolts, a deep snortling blackness and foreboding sounds like the grumbling going on before a prison riot. A prison riot is a howl of racial exclusion, he said. Just to escape being shot at takes infinite ingenuity. A guest at the party had actually given the order to shoot into rioting prisoners at Attica. It's just a fantasy to them, he said, amazed, when someone exclaimed they ought to shoot prisoners anyway, and you were trying to say something of compassion. And when Mother pipes up, we should chop off their heads. We should chop off their heads, go back to the old ways, and everyone's head dropped, staring into their cups, while you stood, eyes glazed, 11 years, San Quentin incarceration tattooed to your arm, a shield of darkness behind which armies rose. That's not the end of it. The armies rose through the parting grass in the Korean rain, when only the roar of your machine gun, drowning the sowing of bullets through flesh, returning cargoes of nightmares, addictions, and crime. Even your own death would not stop, he said, a stone memory to be carried through lifetimes to come. My grandfather. The coiled asp of suicide I carry goes back to my grandfather, who hung himself from a punching bag in the attic and coincides with me, his namesake. My guilt bent as simply as a figure constructed of hairpins. My grandfather, a small man, was named for the biblical Joseph, who saved his life by interpreting dreams. Suicide is one of my roots, and in order to redeem myself, I seem condemned to turn other spirits from that rope, steps to the attic like slots where suicides reach their wires beneath the living deadly house ghosts. The attics swinging to voluptuous shadows, swallowing the light. I enter this defeat with my hands tied up in prayers. The old paths lead me back as I try to interpret this dream, walking through walls, and no matter how many times they close, I have to keep pushing and pushing them open. Okay, this is called for Tet. And will the angels come for Tet? Camilla asked, but he was looking up from a shelter of sunlight, fig leaves and soft language of the surrounding flowers that the neighbors' startling laundry wheeling out over the sky, wondering how to get to the other side, moving in and out of the interweaving presences of friends, their flawed and precious souls forming a lake for him to set his spirit sails. Let's see, what else? A shorter one. Okay, the soul is round. I sit beneath clouds of cherry blossoms on a dark map of the tree's shadows, pulling apart the broken edges of my past like moth's wings. I was a line drawing within my full form, a child witch in a family of witches, grappling with madness and a life gone strange. But you are a divine mother, I was told once. And that side of me with a long string of bitches and heroines. I wakes at midnight wondering about the soul I know nothing of. Well, it's not mean, I think. The soul is always kind, good, and perhaps round like the sun, and an orb such as Plato's form of the good, which is to the human mind as the sun is to the eye. All orbs, the mind dim as the eye by moonlight, without the presence of the good round soul activating vision. The map I sit on spreads like empty fault lines on the dark shame thrown down beneath April's astonishing apparitions of pink, which, like visiting angels, shake out all the sinuous figures I have danced with, shining compassion into my blackest corners, for I am no more my shadow than I am the cherry, than the cherry is the flat web of darkness lines the sun draws beneath it. Somebody else gonna read?
Well, we're giving you some special time. So if you have another poem you'd like to hear, something.
That's fine. What?
You have a different book there.
A different book? Well, let's see. Let's open it random, see what I get. Dear Cliff. I'll read that. Dear Cliff. He was my partner for a long time.
All right.
Dear Cliff, I took your ashes to the woods Monday and dug a hole, kneeling where I once dug humus from under redwood roots, when you leaned forth from that rich silk to tell me you loved me. All week you leaned, gifted and full of speech, from that darkness which opened so wide. I saw its vast, stormy worlds beneath me for miles. Did you know, moments after I buried your crushed bones, a sea serpent 100 feet long, with an entourage of sea lions and gulls, was spotted by 5 sober men and a woman off the West Marin coast, moving 50 miles per hour inland close, and then left again? I think he came for you, which makes me wonder what we are with these forms we take up and put down like silk. Cliff, before you died, when I was frantic to find you, I met in meditation, I saw you on the beach at the edge of the universe, and there was a pearl circled by all the irritation of your life. I thought you were all right, and I guess you are. I'm told the pearl is the elixir of life, and only won by great suffering. Next day I rode through the city in the blitz of that fallout with uncontrolled grief. Your war, our war, no one survives. Sounds of licensed murder, art and mind. Wait a minute. Sounds of life. Yeah, okay. But what a dream we had when I picked you up at the San Mateo jail, June 9th, pale as pastry, dragging a box of redwood burls. Who would have guessed we'd walk together so far, or that it would end now? We stopped at the Jackson Cafe at 2 a.m. and I invited you back to San Geronimo. So nervous I kept you talking till dawn, but you never left. And I watched your face emerge from sleep through a series of transformations each morning. These are the different. I guess they said I watched your face emerge from a series of transformation each morning. Reptilian, crustacean, dinosaur, and fish. Your consciousness went so far back and slowly became mammal and human, and that went on for months. But wait you did from that green-gray jade heroin dawn into an enchanted wood, a riot of foliage and tangled weed. Here we are visited by an assortment of holy men. Assortment of holy men, you wrote. I accord their spiritual attainment to the vacancy of stairs. Seth is marvelously vacated in his being, Ramdas, flighty and ethereal. People come to our hills like flocks returning to a primal roost. Then came the confessions that covered the house with dark gray cloud for days. How during Operation Murder at age 17, your outfit formed a wedge of violence between North and South Korea, with you at the apex because you were good, bodies piling up for 3 days and nights, so high you had to keep moving the guns back and back, and it took 20 years of addiction, crime, insanity, Synanon and asylums, 36 multiple shock treatments, and prison before you could speak. 9 of the 10 guys from that crack outfit in San Quentin with you. You, the captain, a stone drunk on 6th Street. You, the heroes, the losers. But when you told the story of the Turks isolated on a hill without ammunition, throwing severed heads down on the enemy, and later raping and rampaging through a psycho ward, I crawled out to the woods until first Seth and then Ramdas turned up to help. Seth put up a tent when Star appeared, and Jan Hummingbird and Dennis and Diane in the small campground. Hosanna formed a band, and we danced and danced, and Cliff, I never saw how rich it was until it was over and came into focus like a photograph. Grief came like a tidal wave with aftershocks and anterior silence, a dream of carrying you over my shoulders down escalating descents, your weight too heavy, chains thick as any Nazi incineration, a debacle around your neck, young men tricked out to battle, never to return, no matter how they survive. Carnage piled up into a continent gathered between your body and your mind. Words flop like doves to soften this emptiness, and your music won't stop. I was carrying your ashes in heavy traffic over a bridge where San Quentin and its hillside of dumped bodies is in full view. The logic of war, like teeth rising and falling on those closing gates of ruined men. Your last words were, Joey, I can't make it alone on the outside. 10 years later, cut me, and I almost dropped your ashes down in the channel in the pouring rain. Cliff, the minister at your service, has your saxophone. He could be your son. His father was in Korea and San Quentin, as you were, a poet and user. Oh, this goes on so long. 2 days after I knew you were gone, with everyone shouting, bury the body. I'd never done that before and wanted a service, but knew no minister, was running home to call before they dumped your body with the poor in Potter's Field. Laura said someone should play the saxophone and Hosanna. Just the right person should have your Lady of the Bell. I missed my bus, and the teeth of your death was trying to believe everything worked together for good. And there in the doorway of the One Mind Temple stood Robert Haven. He remembered you. He was a minister, and once gave me a violin when mine was stolen. He teaches music to children, so I gave him your saxophone after a long Indian summer. It rained. It rained for the service. We were a talkative procession streaming down to the Panhandle. Laura, Noni, Jean, and Jack like pallbearers. Robert played until it seemed a great angel enveloped us. Hillside, fuchsias, blackberries, saxophone, trees, and Hosanna singing the spiritual. I wept when Robert sang the service, and Quincy, 12 now, held me. We all shook hands. Hosanna in a red hat talked of your formality. I spoke of seeing you in hallways in alleyways before I knew you. I've seen that guy before I knew you, and how women would say, I've seen that guy, he always stood in doorways, shadowed, and observing what you call the world's underbelly. How the little 5-year-old girl in Puerto Vallarta, looking at us, exclaimed, "You are two flowers." How you went to Pakistan to buy opium legally, and while sitting stoned by this roadside, the British conscripted you into the cholera fighting corps, so you swabbed arms for 3 days and nights, human lines stretched as far as I could see. I spoke of Ainsnord, my spirit guide, your ally, with his striped burnous and wild eyes, saying over and over, there's no way you can understand what Cliff is going through, letting go of 20 years heroin addiction. Toward me, Joanne behaves as though God were tangible as an apple. You wrote, I am happy, so much so I must find some ailment to treat, some reason to bicker. I don't know how to act. It's hard to be successful, painful to love, discomforting to be happy. I have much to learn for each of our lives was just a preparation for each other, and I thought I could never lose you, that you could find your way back to me, dead drunk in the dark, without an address, climbing backyard fences, chased by dogs. No one believes you're gone. It's almost done.
Yes. Finish.
There.
No, you have a little, just,
Okay.
let's finish that, that's good.
Okay. Cliff, after the service, Jane took your ashes to the Pomo bar for one last drink. And there was a brilliant double rainbow up over Haight Street that went on. And Cliff, after Hannah and I buried the ashes, Halloween, I went up to my old redwood to meditate, and saw two great angels coming up the path, holding you. It's Cliff. I was excited, but you weren't really there. It was your form, empty, holding a red velvet box, which you gave to me. It was the Star of David, the Christ star, your last gift.
Wow. Thank you. Joanne Hotchkiss, there you go. Thank you. Let that be an object lesson to think you can't be heavy here. All right, so we're going to take a brief break, and then Richard, you're going to come up after the break, and then I'm going to follow you, just so you know how we're going to do this, because changed it up a little bit. So take a break, enjoy yourselves, and say hello to our wonderful treat feature here.
What's that? Somebody good?
I need to know where you're going to place me.
Oh, you're right here.
Okay, let's see.
So where are we?
We're right here right now. We're going to be two of
1,
us.
2, 3,
There's 2,
4,
3, 4,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay.
Right here. 9 or 10 or something like that.
And when do you want me to drum?
When this woman in the red top there, when she's going to do a dance thing, And I'm going to play music, so then you'll be the drum, you'll start, and I'll kick in, and she'll do her thing, and go for a couple of minutes, and whoosh. And you can fiddle out if you want to.
So you guys are going to do naps, right?
Yeah, I'm
not.
He's going to go, we're going to do a break, and he, then me, then you.
Good.
My life. Wonderful. You have to do it.